Head coach of the Philadelphia 76ers, Nick Nurse, is here. Coach, welcome. How are you?
I'm doing good. Much better after last night.
Was there a moment where you were freaked out like all the rest of us when the broadcast incorrectly pointed out that you lost the pick?
There was a few moments because I did hear that, and I was trying to look at the board and figure out how that could be, and me and Elton Brand both were like, wait a minute, we're out? No, we're not out, huh? And then by the time we were getting there, we were back in. He corrected himself. So it was a little wild, though, a little bit of a wild night in the NBA in general, and that just added to it.
It was
for us.
I figure with Daryl sitting at that table, he's a numbers guy. He probably said, no, they're wrong. Did he know instantaneously they were wrong?
He was not buying that line that he I'm not sure he heard it because he was kind of doing all his calculations while the picks were going, but Elton Brand and I heard it for sure, and Daryl was like, oh, I did kind of hear it, but I knew it wasn't right, so I didn't really he said he didn't really react to it. So there you go.
Well, Coach, you are coaching the team and obviously going through a really rough year. He is running the team. At what point of this season did you as the coach realize this is just not going our way, and you turn into maybe like evaluation mode of, hey, what guys can help me moving forward here?
Yeah, I don't know the exact, pinpoint of when it was, but the rough general, the trade deadline comes and goes, and we make another little run to get some guys back healthy, and we just started losing more guys. And Joel didn't, who decided he wasn't going to play the rest of the year, and Tyrese got hurt. At that point, you were kind of like, this is not our year. It just isn't. And then it was really quickly move into let's get these other guys evaluated and let's get them out there and let's see if we can build them and develop them and see what happens.
Through that evaluation, did you find guys that surprised you that you might now think are a part of moving forward?
I think we did. Yeah, I think that we certainly had a great chance to evaluate them. Like, I don't think this chance would have presented itself for Bona, Justin Edwards. Obviously, we got a pretty decent quick look at McCain early. Quentin Grimes got a great chance to develop and evaluate himself as well. So I think we certainly found those three guys that we would plan on helping us next year for sure.
Nick Nurse is on with me here. You mentioned McCain. You did get a short burst to him, but not a lot together with Maxey. You're the coach. How do you see those two? I know some people are, I don't know if they can play together. I think Daryl's even kind of questioned whether those two can play together. You coach them, though. Do you think those two guys can play a lot of minutes together?
Yeah, I certainly do. I think that they're similar, but they're I think at the beginning, in my mind anyway, I would have said Tyrese is our point guard when he's on the floor, and Jared's our two guard when he's on the floor if they're on the floor together. But now I think that we know we need to get Tyrese off the ball some just to let him display the shooting aspect of his game that he can do, and just to get him just some rest off the ball, really, just some time. And Jared, we tried to put him on the ball to see what kind of point guard he was, and obviously he played a lot of point guard in his younger years, and I really think they kind of coexist as both the one and the two, just kind of sharing both positions. And I think they have assets at both of them, and I think it's necessary that we have them both play each position. Yeah.
Talk with Nick Nurse. McCain was a joy to watch, by the way. He was a guy that, in a year that was just like, there was so much excitement for this season. He was a joy. In your mind, you never got a chance to really see Tyrese, Paul, and Joel. Is that something that you think still can work?
Yeah, for sure. I don't think we got to look at it nearly in any capacity that we wanted to. There's maybe a handful of games, and I'm not sure any of them were that healthy in those games, to be honest. So definitely, I think the 1-3-5 it kind of covers the roster, the lineup there, covers small, big, middle. Loved some of the things that George brought, especially defensively last year. I think he's a really good player. I think he's really smart. I think that, maybe he doesn't score as much as he used to back in his prime, but he's still a really good shooter. He can get shots off because of his 6'9" frame. And I think we all know what Joel and Tyrese can do, especially together.
Yeah, and obviously the tough part of it is everybody says, well, Joel hasn't been able to be healthy. George hasn't been able to be healthy. Everybody seems to think, yeah, they're healthy. You had Kawhi that year, and you kind of managed him through that in Toronto. Is there any similarities with what you're seeing here with Joel?
Well, hopefully this year there will be. I mean, I think that's the thing everybody, needs to remember. Joel, he suffered a serious injury. He was playing about I would say his best basketball of his career. Last year when this injury happened. He was really playing great, and just hasn't been able to quite be the same since. He did have some great playoff games against the Knicks. Obviously played in the Olympics, but I think we're on a road to getting him back to a little more, getting back to who he is. With this whole long off season and full summer, rehab and strengthening and conditioning and all those things, and then we can get ourselves back on the right track.
All right, we're spending some time with Nick Nurse here, kind enough to join us. You saw the ping pong balls. They bounced your way. It was a little scary for a minute there. They fixed it, and then you're in the top 4, and then they pick you at number 3. It's always like 3 is the spot where it's like everybody kind of knows number 1, and then they think they know number 2, and then there's 3. Do you look at your roster right now and say, man, there's a bunch of guys that could really help this roster?
Well, there's some for sure. We only get one pick, so we just got to make sure we find one that can really help the roster.
Now, you don't have to tell us. You don't have to tell us, Coach. But was there a guy in your mind initially where like, gosh, I hope we get this player? If it's not 1 or 2, when you landed at 3.
No, but I think there's a couple in my mind.
Okay.
I think there's certainly a couple in my mind that are on there now that we're at 3 is when you can really dial in. It's nice that you don't, there's probably only one person, they all know who's going number 1, and then we only got one team that can pick one of the 2 other guys that we want. So if we have a couple, we're in good shape, I think. So that being said, I just want, most talent, want somebody that competes to win, toughness, work, somebody understands that this is a grind and a job, and you got a lot of time to get better and a lot of time in the gym and a good teammate, man. We want somebody that wants to compete to win and be part of a great organization.
It's been a lot of good number 3 picks, by the way. Joel, Bradley Beal, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Luka Doncic. You've heard a couple of those guys. They're all pretty good. If you get an impact player like that, do you look at, Coach? Obviously, you're saying, yeah, I want to draft a guy and I want him to compete and, be an impact right away. Did you, McCain, did you think he was going to have the impact he did? I probably not, right?
I didn't think so, no. I think that he surprised everybody, but did it pretty quickly. I mean, I would say after getting to camp, it was unbelievable the confidence he showed in training camp. I would say on paper probably didn't have him in the rotation to start the year, but he just earned it and went after it and did it. So that's
a lot of that.
You have the confidence, man. Confidence and work ethic take you a long way when you got the skill, right?
Well, yeah, absolutely. But a lot of that is he got an opportunity due to some injuries. Does that now give you more confidence to maybe say, I'm going to give a longer leash to this guy this year because maybe what I see in camp isn't enough? I got to get you some playing time, or is that not how it works?
No, I think it's. We'll see how it all shakes out, but I think that in this slot, in this pick, you're going to get a player that needs to play and needs minutes and needs reps, and you just got to grow them as fast as you can, especially on a team like ours.
All right, Coach. Well, we appreciate it. Last night was a wild ride for everybody. You guys got that pick. Was there a lot of trepidation that you might have lost that pick? Like, was that even thought about, or were you just trying to say, I don't even want to go down that road?
I tell you what, man, it was pretty nervous, man. It's like it was such high stakes. It wasn't like it was.
You go through a 59-loss
it
season
was
and don't get that
10
pick,
or 9 or 8. It was 6 inside 6 or nothing.
Yeah,
that's a pretty high stake thing. So yeah, we were really pulling that it would come out our way, and I'm glad it did. I think it. Again, it's a tremendous positive energy boost for us and everybody around, and let's take it and go.
You get down the shore at all? You get down to the beach?
Haven't been yet, but I will.
All right, well, get down to shore. Let us know. We'll hope to catch up with you soon. And congratulations on getting pick 3, and let's get the fan base back into this thing, all right?
Thank you. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Thanks for calling in, Coach. Coach Nick Nurse here on the Sports Bash Live on 97.3 ESPN. There you go. A lot of questions answered. I think some good stuff there. Maxey McCain, he certainly thinks they could play together off the ball more with Maxey McCain. We'll get some